Hi everyone. Welcome back to the Creative Exploration series. This week, I'm doing something a bit different. Doing artist interviews like this is something I've wanted to do for a very long time, and I'm super glad to have the opportunity to do so. In this series, I talk about creativity from my own very limited perspective. But every single person out there has a different approach to handling and overcoming creative obstacles. In this episode, I talked to musician Alyssa Menes about her approach to creativity and what steps she takes to progress and grow as an artist. In the video description below, you will find links and other information from topics we discussed. Now, on to the interview. Thanks for being my guinea pig, Alyssa. Hi, Alyssa. How are you?
I'm good. How's it going, Ben?
I'm all right. Welcome to the Creative Exploration first interview.
Yeah.
First, well, interview / discussion / whatever.
Cool. Well, it's an honor to be the first interview on your fabulous show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, I was just looking forward to, see what you do with this and, being the first one on the show. I think it's really exciting.
Yeah. There's definitely some work I have to do on my end just to get it all lined up, but I'm looking forward to it because, like I was saying a little bit before we started recording, it's like I want to show off other people's versions of facets of creativity rather than just talking about myself all the time. So let's learn more about you.
Yeah. What do you want to know?
Well, okay. So how did you start with music? Because you are a musician.
Yes.
So,
last I checked, I think. Yeah. So how did I get started? I've always, I don't know, it's really tied into games for me. I just grew up playing NES games, and I always just remember just loving the music just a whole lot, and that was just a very big thing for me. I think it was third grade, you start playing the recorder, and I just kind of jumped on that. Even though you had to stay inside from recess 2 days a week, I was like, whatever, I'll do it. I like this. This is fun. I like making horribly out of tune notes. It's supposed to sound like the Wizard of Oz, but it doesn't, and I'm having a blast. I love this.
Well, you have a room full of third graders doing it too.
Oh my god, yeah. It was just I remember thinking, being a kid thinking it'd be great if we played different parts. If somebody had one part and somebody else had another part, so we're not all playing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think I said that to the music teacher, and she looked at me.
Yeah,
and
harmony's grade 5.
That conversation ended real quick. Yeah. But yeah, so there was third grade recorder class, and then they did this presentation in my school, this assembly. You all go into the gymnasium and you listen to whatever. But they came in with I think it was the band director from the high school at the time or something, and they were just there to tell the kids hey, you're gonna go into the 4th grade next year. You can be you can do instrumental music. You can learn how to play one of these fabulous instruments. So I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I was like, oh my god, music! I want to do it. I don't even know what it is. I just played recorder all year.
Yeah. So what did you move on from recorder then?
Well, I wanted to do saxophone, but the music teacher that I mentioned before, who is not a cool person at all.
Oh no.
Just I don't know how you can be a music teacher and not cool, but I digress. So she was like, no, you're a girl. You have to play the flute because it's a girl's instrument for girls. Yeah, it was a really it wasn't a progressive time back in the 90s. Not like it is today. So kids today don't understand. But yeah, so I was...
90s kids.
90s kids, yeah, hashtag just 90s things. So I was forced to play the flute, and I couldn't get a sound out of it. I was 2 weeks in, and I couldn't get a single sound out of it. All the other kids in the class were playing and tooting along and what have you, and I just told the music teacher, listen, I can't do this. I want to play the saxophone. I asked to play the saxophone from the beginning, and I'm going to play the saxophone, even though it's larger than me. But then I got my way, and I got to play the saxophone, and it was just a natural fit, because then I was able to make sounds, and it was my instrument, so...
Really?
Yeah. Nowadays it's guitar, but...
I feel like reeded instruments are harder to play than woodwinds, like a flute, but I guess I don't have a whole lot of experience with either.
Yeah, just like I don't know. This is a certain. I just couldn't figure out how to like I guess cup the flute against like my chin. Or whatever, or like get the embouchure for it. I just couldn't figure it out, but the saxophone embouchure just came a lot more naturally to me. Like I could play clarinet and saxophone, and they just make a lot more sense. Flute, like even to this day, I mean, I can do a recorder, but just a traditional kind of flute, just can't get a sound out of it. I have no idea. I just have to sit down with it and figure it out, kind of thing. But yeah, still can't do it right now. I've tried before. But yeah, that's kind of how I got started with music.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you mentioned guitar. I know a lot of the music you've been writing lately at least seems more orchestral. Is that what you do most of the time?
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty even split between orchestral and rock music. I'm in a rock band too, Asphalt Gray, where I play bass for that. But yeah, my music that I do for games is pretty much split between orchestral or rock of some form. I'm working on this game called Love is a Game, and that's like a lot of guitar-driven kind of rock music.
Nice.
Yeah. But then there's other titles where it'll be more orchestral. Like I did this kind of epic war track for Sausage Bomber, which is a game
I don't know what that game is, but it sounds really cool.
It's out right now. It's an amazing game. It's so much fun. This mobile game. It's on some other platforms too, but you can get it on iOS and Android, I believe.
Nice.
Where you're like this World War II pilot, and the music's just very serious. It's like this like that kind of thing.
The big taiko drums?
Yeah. Just the big, powerful drums. And you're a fighter pilot who drops sausage on your enemies.
Oh, man. Well, you'll have to send me links for all these, and I'll include them in like the video description below.
Links? Would you like a sausage link?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know we were getting to that level of puns right away.
Oh, no. There's no holding back on my puns. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So how many projects have you done? Like what was your first game project? How about that?
My first big one besides like game jams and little things, it was actually Blackwell Epiphany. So I did the end credits scene for that, and Blackwell's like this it's a series of games by Wajidai Games. This point and click adventures. It's really cool.
Nice.
It's like this it's a supernatural kind of ghost story that takes place in New York City. It's about this psychic medium who she discovers she has these powers, and she's kind of reluctant at first, but then she ends up, using these powers for good. Is that she discovers that she can communicate with ghosts and help them kind of move on to the other side, sort of thing. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, she and her ghost sidekick. So she's like this kind of like nerdy, independent type girl, and her sidekick Joey is like this like 1920s like.
You got some like quantum leap stuff going on there.
Yeah. It's really cool. I love this series so much. It's so awesome. And
sorry.
Since it's like locally made too, I got to do the end credits theme as one of my first like big game projects. So it's really cool.
That's great. You made it sound like it was still going on. Is that like an ongoing series?
No, the end credits theme I did was the last of the series.
Oh,
which,
gotcha.
Yeah, it concluded in 2014. It's been going on, I think, since, I want to say 2007, something like that.
Oh, wow.
It was 5 games over the course of like 7 years kind of thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's a really great series. I would recommend like the whole thing. Just play through the whole thing. Each game will take you only a couple hours a piece, but it's really, really awesome. So I'm very honored I got to do the end theme for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's weird because like my first big project for games was the Maker's Eden, which is also a point and click adventure.
Oh, cool.
So it's like it's kind of weird how those kind of overlap.
Yeah. No, the point and click is it's making, well, I guess it hasn't really gone anywhere, but it's got a pretty dedicated following still to this day, the kind of point and click adventures. I mean, I used to grow up playing like Sam & Max, Day of the Tentacle, all those like LucasArts point and clicks.
Yeah.
So much fun.
King's Quest, was that one of them?
I never played King's Quest.
I think that I played a couple of those.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Then Monkey Island, of course.
Oh, yeah, Monkey Island. I've never gone through all of Monkey Islands, but I've played some of it, and it's just so funny. Like, they were all hilarious. I played Loom. Loom is a good one.
Oh, yeah.
That one's beautiful. The music, that's, like, tied into the game. It's really cool. What else is a good one? I just love Sam & Max. Sam & Max is, like, one of my favorite games ever made. It's so good. I love it. But yeah, so point and click adventures. It's really cool that there's a lot of people out there still making them. They do like an adventure jam every year too. I don't know if you knew about this.
I've heard of that, but I didn't know it was specifically for point and click.
Yeah, it's all point and click adventure games. I think over the course of 2 weeks, you have to just make a point and click, and it just sounds like so much fun. Like, I'd love to get Adventure Game Studio one year and just like give it a shot.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd make a game about. It'd probably be like terrible, like point and click adventure about playing Pokemon Go or something.
Hey, that could actually be a pretty good idea.
It could be. It could be.
Like, you're already doing a point and click adventure. That's like Inception, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're already doing this adventure where you're walking around. Why not tell a person to walk around and catch Pokemon so you don't have to go outside?
I don't know. I do like the going outside part, because otherwise I would just stay inside and play Smash all day.
Yeah.
And make music.
Yeah.
I do like the going outside part.
We'll get to Smash. Don't worry.
Oh no, I'm ready. I'm holding my controller and just playing right now. Can't you hear the clicking? Click, 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 click.
Okay, so when you started out, did you like look up to anybody? Like, were there other musicians or, people who you looked up to, like who are already in the industry at the time?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know Akash Sakar at all?
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's
super familiar actually.
He's a really cool guy. He's like this big proponent of like helping people kind of get into the industry and like teaching you how you can do it and stuff. So he was definitely one of the ones that I looked up to for sure.
He did the Hyperlight Drifter stuff, right?
Yeah, that's him.
No, his YouTube is awesome.
Oh my God, he's amazing. He's got so much great advice on, how to be more productive, and then more of the technical advice. So yeah, I saw one of his panels at PAX. Oh, hi, Akash, in case you're listening.
If only, that would be awesome.
No, he'll listen. I'll tell him.
Okay. Hi.
So I saw his panel, I think, at PAX East. I forget what year exactly, but I told him, like, hi, senpai, I'm a composer, too, and I want to learn how to be the very best composer in composer school. I don't know, whatever. It just turned into an anime.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know how that goes.
And yeah, so my computer screen just went blank.
Oh yeah, I should probably do that so my screensaver doesn't go on. There we go.
No, it keeps doing that. Yeah, so anyway, I met him at PAX East. He was doing this really awesome panel about the work he does in the game industry and, how you can get in the game industry. And I hit it off with him. And, yeah, from there, I just became very motivated and kind of got like the idea of like, okay, this is what I need to do to get in the games industry. This is how I need to network. These are the kind of people I need to talk to. And yeah, I landed the Blackwell job, I think, pretty soon after that.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was like the year before, like that PAX Prime panel, or not PAX Prime, PAX East panel that I went to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it wasn't, like too long after, like it was a big thing, and it was a great help. It was really cool to, to go and meet him and hear about the cool things he was doing.
Yeah, so, yeah. After you talked to him, did you like do any kind of marketing for yourself, or like did you have any methods for just getting your name out there?
It's just a lot of things that I just kind of been working over time. It's kind of hard to say like, oh, this is the exact same thing, and this is the exact thing I did, but I would just go to a lot of kind of just local events, local game dev meetups. There's playcrafting around here that I go to a lot. So I'd go and I'd introduce myself and, just get to know people. I started teaching classes at Playcrafting, which was a big help because then, they'll blast out an email with my name in it and people go to their website and people come to the class and then, they'll want me to do stuff for their games afterwards. And yeah, so, doing those classes, I speak at a lot of conventions. Like I spoke at PAX, I spoke at MagFest. I spoke at GameCon. I spoke at East Coast Games Conference twice already.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, so just like, I don't know, just all that kind of like in-person presence has been a big help. So then I've been able to meet people, travel to GDC and all that too. But then I also try to maintain like a huge kind of online presence. I mean, I'm not like on YouTube putting out, tracks all the time, but I'll put up stuff on my SoundCloud when I get to kind of thing. But, I'm very active on Twitter, as you can see.
Oh, yes. I'm well aware of that.
There's an interesting rumor that I'm actually a Twitter bot, that I'm not a real person because I respond so quickly to tweets.
Yeah. People are always surprised when you get back to them really fast, even though like you get the notification right away.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm just, it pops up on my computer. I'm working, maybe I'll be bouncing on a track and just like on Twitter, but
Oh yeah.
The online presence has helped a lot because then I've been able to, show off stuff that I've done on my SoundCloud and like, just kind of put it up there, and then like people just start retweeting it, and it's crazy, and it's just like because I've met all these people, and then I kind of meet their friends through Twitter and kind of grow this whole little community, and then I just start putting out my music and people start retweeting it, and it's really cool, and I'm very like humbled and honored by all of it. So yeah, it's just something I've just kind of been doing a lot of footwork, getting out there, meeting people, and talking to them online, and
yeah, I know how it goes.
Yeah. You have a big following too. You've got this show that you do on Twitch, where you're composing. So I hear a lot of people talk about you too, which is really cool.
Really?
Yeah. Like that Ben Burns guy who does that. I was like,
that's kind of flattering.
So cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see a whole lot of people talking about it, but usually after I post those videos, I just crash because like it can be exhausting.
Oh, I can imagine. It looks like fun though, just to kind of compose something on a live stream.
It is. You should do it.
I'll try it.
Yeah, if you have questions about getting set up or something, just let me know, because
definitely.
like it's really scary, but it's also really fun once you get the momentum going.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like you have an idea, and then you're just like working on it, and then you have these people in the audience like being like do this, and or just somebody to like distracting you with a different conversation while you work, because there's tedious parts in there too.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you totally should. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. My friend Liz does something similar too. She just moved though, so I'm not sure if she's like inactive with it right now. She'll probably be getting back to it, but she's Lizard Eats Flies on Twitter, and she does like a Saturday morning like coffee and composition thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. She'll go on her stream on Twitch.
Twitch.tv.
Twitch TV. Twitch TV like every Saturday morning, and she's she's there with her coffee, and she's making music, and she has a dog that comes and joins her, and it's great. It's really cool. I was actually a guest on her show a couple months ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we were just talking about composing and the process, the creative process.
The creative process.
The creative process.
Yeah, we're getting there. It's only
cool.
15 minutes in.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, one of the questions that I had for you is like, I know you make a lot of stuff, but what like creative tricks do you use to get momentum to like keep moving forward?
Well, I kind of I don't know. I kind of just, after doing it for so long, after making so much music, I just kind of have like this workflow down. I mean, the workflow is really important, especially not just in the composition side, but in the production side on Logic. But as far as composing goes, it's just like again, there's a workflow there too. It's like, okay, here's my prompts. This is what I have to write. It's a happy theme, it's a sad theme, whatever. I'll go to the piano and just start writing it. And music theory, I think, has been a really, really big help, because it's like, okay, you have to make something that sounds spooky. I know to go for, kind of chromatic scale. You have to make something like big and epic. I know to kind of do like low string ostinatos, like stuff like that. Yeah, so that helps me out a lot. And I'll also sing like in my head. I'll hear something in my head before I start playing it. I'll try to like sing it and figure out the rhythm and everything, and then I'll sit down at the piano and plunk it out, write it down. I actually have a very a sort of system of like super like shorthand that I do when I write music out.
Cool.
Yeah, because I'll like properly write it in Finale, but just to get the basics of it, like the basic sketch of a piece, I have like a super kind of like shorthand system that I have. Well, I'd have to show a visual. I think I've shown a few on Twitter, just like my music sketches. But
well, if you send me a link, I'll try to remember to put it in the video.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'll try. Let's see.
Yeah.
We're like 20. No,
I'll go dig up the one on Twitter. But yeah. So it's like that's stuff like that. That's how I had to do this kind of one track for one of the games that I was working on. This kind of like epic orchestral danger sort of track, and I was able to write it. At least the composing part, not the whole like production part, but the whole composing part was super quick. I'd say no more than like 5 to 10 minutes.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of ostinatos and stuff too, so it's not just like, but yeah, just to kind of get like that ostinato, and then from there, just to kind of like create rising tension, I want to do this da 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 da, just kind of like the sequencing.
Just keep
helps
bringing everything up.
Yeah. Sequencing is great for rising tension. And yeah, it kind of has this breaking point, and then da 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 da, and this starts again.
Just loops over. Yeah. Well,
So,
you mentioned something about music theory, and I find it really interesting that people kind of resist learning the basic rules. And I think this goes beyond just music theory, but people kind of resist learning music theory because they feel like it limits them creatively. But in the end, it's like this huge boon for them. Like they have all these rules that they can break now rather than not knowing anything.
exactly. Thank you. I'm glad you say that because, I've definitely come across people where they're just like, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to lose my creativity by learning this. But, it really just helps you, when you get to like this kind of stage where you have to write music quickly, it helps to know, like, if I, like I said, that rising tension moment before, like if I didn't know music theory, if I didn't know, hey, like I just like modulate it by like seconds, it'll feel like it's a rising tension. I wouldn't have, known to do that. Or I would have had to sit there at the piano and, take 10 minutes just to figure that part out instead of just knowing like, all right, that's going to get my rising tension if I just like modulate it. It's like, take that little melody there and just copy paste it. And finale, boom, boom, boom. Okay, I'm done. Like I know that's what's supposed to happen. So music theory is a huge, huge, huge help. At first when you're learning it, like you might feel restricted in your compositions. You might get into this like kind of like, 1-4-5-1 thing, and that's totally fine, but just keep writing, keep getting past that, like push past that. As you write like more and more, just kind of just kind of like push little things here and there, like try something new every time that you write like a little new thing. And then you're going to push past that kind of like restricted sort of 1-4-5-1 thing, and you'll be making your own music. But you'll also have this very strong basis in, knowing kind of like, what mode will make somebody feel a certain way, or what key will make somebody feel a certain way, what chord progression will invoke sadness, what chord progression will invoke like, triumph. So you'll understand that a lot better if you study theory.
Yeah, completely agree. I don't know. Whenever I see people complaining about they don't want to learn music theory because they're afraid of it or they don't want to lose their creativity, I'm just like, I don't really want to spend the time teaching you, but I really do.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, like, you just gotta like kind of look at it from like, the perspective of like when you have to write all the time, like theory's your best friend,
Mm-hmm.
It helps you so much. I wouldn't be able to make music that quickly if I didn't study theory for however long in college. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was another question that I had that I sent over to you. Like, what other conventional wisdom, like thoughts, or what conventional wisdom about game music is just kind of wrong? Like, what do people usually think about game music that just really isn't that accurate?
Oh God. So, and I'll see this with some developers too. They'll be like, "Oh, can you make chiptunes? Your game music. This is game music, so it has to be chiptunes, right?" I'm like, "No, not necessarily. I actually developed an app for the National Video Game Museum to kind of like showcase different video game music in different genres, such as orchestral, jazz, rap, rock, just everything, just to show people that it's not just, kind of like beeps and boops.
It's not Nintendo music.
Yeah, and but not even to say like, you listen to music back then, like Nintendo music back then, stuff that like Hip Tanaka did, and it has a genre, like his stuff for like Urban Champion, it's jazz, his stuff for like Metroid and Kid Icarus is like a classical slant, Metroid a little more like kind of electronica, but you hear it even though like the sounds used to represent it are, chiptunes or square waves and triangle waves and all that. But that's like the kind of notion that I get a lot, is that people think game music has to be like beep boop beep boop, and it's not. And even within chiptunes, there's genres of music. You can have jazz, you can have metal, you can have all this. It's just using a certain sound palette to represent it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really surprising how much jazz is actually in like NES chiptunes from back in the day.
Oh yeah, totally. So many examples. I mean, like I said, Hip Tanaka a lot. Like the Mario music has a lot. And then there's just so much interest in all that music. Hip Tanaka does beautiful kind of like counterpoint and, you know, counter melodies and all that. There's some music from back then and it's not good, but there's a lot of music from back then and it is good. You know, it's really awesome and it rivals, you know, like kind of all sorts of like kind of classic compositions. I mean, you know, you do chiptune stuff, so I think you understand like the depth and the dimension that kind of music can have.
And it's kind of like pixel art in a way where you're so limited in what you can do, where you have to innovate. And that's what I really like about working within chiptunes, because you're like forced to innovate every time you make something, because otherwise it's going to sound like something else.
Yeah, totally.
Because like you said, you only have like 2 square waves and a triangle wave, and it's like, good luck.
But there's so much you can do with it. It's really cool. I really love how creative a lot of the compositions get. I love like the use of just counter melody that they would use a lot, because they couldn't particularly put, I guess, chord changes in there, so they would just do you know, bass part melody and like a little counter melody, and it would just say so much. You know,
you're like forced to juggle all the instruments because you don't have so many to work with.
Oh yeah, it's really cool though. It's great.
Yeah, and chiptune is so divisive. Like, either people love chiptune music or they just hate it. And there's not a lot of people that I know that are just like, yeah, it's all right.
I don't know, like from back then, just those melodies are just so near and dear to my heart.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I'll listen to it, but I'll hear what instruments they're supposed to be. It's just represented with, you know, square waves and represented with just only a few voices instead of, you know, a lot more voices that you can do today in games. I mean, you can just record anything you want nowadays. You can record like a 50-piece orchestra. You know, or in my case, I guess 50 East-West instruments,
which is mostly the same thing at this point. Like I can't imagine working with that many instruments. Usually when I'm making a song, it's like brass section and I just kind of stick it in there and it works, but it's not ideal. But some of your orchestration is really great.
Oh, thank you.
Like I kind of trolled through your SoundCloud today and I listened to a bunch of stuff because I hadn't done that in a while. But yeah, you had a lot of really cool stuff on there.
Thank you. Yeah. My secret to orchestration is I just do regard like the families of instruments just kind of as their own section. I mean, you know, within those sections you can have kind of like counterpoint and you can, you know, break them down a little bit. But I, you know, regard, you know, not just like violin, viola, cello, but I regard them as strings and they do this thing and they function in this way. They're like the body of the orchestra. And then, you know, woodwinds, they do this and they function this way. So I kind of regard them that way in kind of big chunks like that. And it helps a lot. And then I just kind of break it down from there. That's like a really just quick and fast secret to my orchestration. But
oh no, that's great knowledge. Like I can you could talk about it forever.
Yeah, I can talk about orchestration all day.
Well, we should talk about that at some point. Because
totally.
Orchestration is something that I'm kind of weak at, and I'd love to get more information on that. But
I'm always glad to talk about it. Maybe I'll write a blog post about it for my website.
Yeah. And what is your website? If we can get some self-promotion kind of snuck in the middle here.
acmenesmusic.com.
Nice.
Yeah,
so I think we're going to kind of start wrapping up here, but I do have a couple more questions if you want to field them. So if you could give one piece of advice for aspiring musicians for games, what would that be?
Just keep practicing your craft. Just write something every day. Get stuff done. I noticed a lot of kind of younger composers just kind of, and myself included when I got started, they would just write like a little something and then kind of go off to the next thing and then next thing and never really finish anything. So just force yourself to finish something. Just like write a 4-bar piece, an 8-bar piece, whatever it is. Finish it, get it done, put it on SoundCloud, go to the next thing, and just finish things and practice every day. I think it's very important.
That's exactly like one of my mantras as well in life. It's like, don't leave anything by the wayside unless you know that you can't do anything with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So So do you have any resources for people? Like, what did you use to learn? Like, aside from going like to college and learning stuff, I'm sure you have resources that you reference.
Well, for very basic stuff, I think it's musictheory.net is a good place to start. My orchestration, there's a great book that I started with by Kent Wheeler Kennan. I think it's called Basics of Orchestration, something like that. But if you look up his name, yeah, he did like this kind of like basic orchestration book where it's like the ranges of the orchestra and all the different instruments. I mean, and kind of just basic qualities. But my favorite orchestration book is Principles of Orchestration by Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. That's how I got really heavily into orchestration. And this is actually after college. I just started binging on this book and just reading it, yeah. And then I would take like NES tunes and just orchestrate them. My first one, like kind of little project I did was like the Kid Icarus music, where I just kind of like went through each tune and just orchestrated it. And then later got that performed by University of Maryland's Gamer Symphony Orchestra, which is really cool. Oh,
that's cool.
Yeah. But no, I just kind of practiced like that. Like, and I thought that was a fun way to practice orchestration was by arranging other things, particularly chip tunes, where you're very limited. There's not a lot to work with, and you have to be very creative and like really bring out a lot of character in the piece that you might not otherwise hear. Because of the instrumental, I guess the sound choices, the chip tunes. So you had to like kind of bring out a new character to the piece, and yeah, so it was I would recommend doing that. Read that book and try to orchestrate things if you want to learn how to orchestrate.
Yeah, like you said, it's the best way to learn it is just to do it over and over until you go crazy. Yeah, and definitely arranging is great because then you don't have to worry about the composition part. You're already working with an amazing composition, and it's like you just focus on the orchestration, and it's really helpful. Yeah. Okay, last question that wasn't on the list. But all right. What would you consider as making it in your career? I like this one. I thought of this one on the way home. Oh, this is a it's a heady one. Oh yeah. I might need to think about this one. Surprise. Well, I mean, there's like the kind of practical thing where it's like, okay, do you have money to pay the bills? And it's that one can be tricky. It's tough. We're composers, we're musicians. Yeah, us artsy types. I still have to teach lessons and do other things too. But mostly doing this. But yeah, there's that, and I just feel like really making it though is just having that kind of community around you, like that I was talking about earlier. I'm getting to a point where there's a few clients who just kind of keep coming back to me, and I'm very humbled and honored that they're doing this, and that they want to come back to me, and they're like, they want my music, they want my sounds. So I'm kind of got to that point where I've built that, and there's a lot of people kind of around me that I'm very grateful for to be talking to on the internet, like you and like a lot of cool people that'll retweet my music, and we'll kind of encourage each other. And I feel like that in a way, just like, you kind of find your place in the game dev community is making it. Yeah. And of course, being able to pay your bills. Oh, yeah. Well, I find the easy answer is just being able to pay the bills. But it's like, I like your answer of just like being able to build a community around what you do. Oh, yeah. And like having that community to work with. Like, it's fantastic. I mean, it's, it's really cool. Like I'll, say I'll be working on a track and I'll ask for maybe some people to sing. I did this with the game I was working on, that I wanted some singers on a track just to kind of sing like this kind of part, like these like backing like spaghetti western vocals sort of thing. And it was really cool. Like, I got some people from my orchestra, I got some other friends from Twitter, and people just sent me stuff, and it was really cool, and I would do it for other people too if somebody else wanted that. I've played saxophone on some people's tracks, and surprisingly not guitar yet. I'm better at guitar, but so it's just really cool that to have that kind of community around you, and to be supported in what you do and support others. So yeah. Well, that's great. How about you tell us more about yourself as we bring it out? Like, where can we find you online? You can find me again at acmenesmusic.com is my website, soundcloud.com/acmenes, and Twitter, acmenes. You got that unified social media front going. Oh yeah, totally. You gotta. Nice. I'm the only AC Menes, man. I gotta own that.
Yeah, so you can find me there. Twitter, just beware of my my garbage posts, I guess.
Yep. And we're going to talk about Smash for like the next 20 minutes now.
Oh, so, hell yeah. No. Awesome.
Maybe for like 5.
I'll talk about Smash all day.
So we started a very small feud on Twitter today because I said Link was one of the better Smash players, and you are a very core Icarus player.
Yeah, well, Pit.
Pit, sorry, not Icarus.
It says
Pit
in the manual that his name is Pit, like back in 1986. Like, get with the program.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay, it's okay. But yeah, no, he's my main in Smash. He's like my favorite Nintendo character, so just makes sense. But yeah, we started that poll. I started that poll,
which was a mistake on your part apparently because I'm winning.
It's okay. No, well, there is no context given, so I got some pretty interesting reasons for some answers. Like my friend, a friend of mine was like, "Well, I have an arm Pit, but not an arm Link, so I picked Pit." And then someone, John Robert Matz, another composer, answered. He was like, "Well, a lot of my fond memories are playing in orchestra pits, so I picked."
Oh wow!
So yeah, for all people know, we could be making them choose between a hole in the ground and a sausage Link.
And a sausage Link, yeah.
So a sausage Link, I think, would be better. A hole in the ground would be kind of inconvenient.
Yeah, good place to twist your ankle.
Yeah. Ow! Shit.
I'm like I'm like a fulfilling meal over here. I don't know.
Yeah, seriously, a single sausage Link. Only 200 calories.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for for swinging by and talking to me for so long. I really appreciate it, and I hope those listening out there in YouTube land also enjoyed this. And I highly recommend you you follow Alyssa and listen to all of her stuff because it's really great.
Thank you. You. I must be happy to hear.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. You were my guinea pig for this one.
Oh,
so.
Well, awesome. I'm glad I could be a guinea pig.
I think it worked out well.
Yeah, totally. This was fun. I would love to do this again.
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
Yeah.
If nobody else wants to ever talk to me, we'll just have this Alyssa Ben hour.
Every week we'll just talk about like why Pit is better than Link.
Oh boy. Yeah, we're gonna end the episode now before things that can't be unsaid are said.
You just delete it, just edit. No, you just splice the words around.
Link is better than Pit.
There you go, that works.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
No problem.
You have a good one.
You too. Bye.